What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
I'm
and
Jason.
you are listening to Liquid Carnage. What's going on, dude?
Liquid Carnage, baby. This is a historic day today
Is it?
because this Thursday, today, we are starting our second year in producing a podcast called Liquid Carnage.
Season 2, baby.
Season two
Season
starts
2.
today. It's going to be a crazy year. We've already got some good stuff lined up. I think we got some good topics to talk about. Lots of changes going on. It's
Right?
very hot down here in Scottsdale, so
It's very
we need
hot
to
up here
find
in
the
Kingman,
cool.
man. It was almost 100 degrees here today, and it's not even mid-May. So I can't imagine what you guys
Oh
are
my
going through.
Yeah, we were 107 today was our
Oh,
high.
man. But
Yeah.
you're right, though. We are
Yeah.
planning a lot of cool things here for Season 2 of Liquid Carnage. Last week, I did put a poll on Facebook about what you wanted to hear from one of us picking a topic. And it was, you can listen to Jason talk about life or death, or you can listen to me talk about more conspiracy theories. And out of 18 votes, which is record for us,
That is a
I
lot.
narrowly won 56% to 44%.
Ooh, it was very close.
So
Wow, okay.
we will be having another conspiracy episode here in the very near future. If there's an episode you want to hear or a topic you want to hear, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. If you want to hear from our executive producer, Tom, Liquid_EP is his handle. And he is always a giant ball of fun to tweet and listen to.
Oh gosh, he sometimes makes the show that much better because you get like a show and a half because you get the show and then you get like the executive producer's comments.
Yeah, you get like the director's cut of a movie, you know. And
now I do think that we do need to make a shout out to our intern who is still with us and is still alive, and yet we have not really invited him ever to come onto the podcast in their most recent history. So we need to change that. So we need to get intern JP on the show to talk about whatever topic he wants to talk about.
Okay. We will be bringing back a series of guests from season 1. We've also got some new guests for season 2 lined up that I'm very excited to talk to and just to hear their opinion on their ways of the world and life in general.
I love it.
You know, and it's cool. It's cool because I feel like we've gotten the vibe out there into the world that we are a very open-minded podcast to talk to anybody about anything at any time. Would you not agree?
I feel like we're open-minded enough to talk to anyone, anytime about any topic. I would agree with you wholeheartedly.
You know,
and I think that it's one of those things that as we progress and get more comfortable and our audience and our fans get more comfortable, I don't even think we've scratched the surface of topics that we can get into and I think have really good discussions on, serious and comical. So
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to people joining us, getting involved on social media to tell us what they want to hear. And believe me, we are open and willing to do anything.
We're going to put let's not get too crazy. Like we'll entertain ideas. Nothing's off the table to discuss, but we want to dip our toe in the edge of maybe a little bit of controversy and hitting those topics that hit really close to home. But, you know, I don't know. We want to make sure it's a good topic for everybody, that everyone learns something good from it, you know?
I like it. Very well said, Scotty. Very well said.
No, you mentioned serious topics. We got some requests for some serious topics over the last couple of weeks on our Facebook page. Thank you to our friend Jenna for giving us a whole slew of them. Today's topic being one of them. What's a serious topic that you think we should explore at some point?
Me personally, what's a serious topic?
Yes.
I still like the idea of I do want to do one on the like healthcare and hospice care and where it fits in our society, and not necessarily euthanasia, but the right to live, die states that are out there. I definitely want to talk about that. It's something that's important to me. When I lost my father, hospice was a very important part of my transition from the pain to feeling a sense of relief that his pain was gone. So that's one topic that I definitely would like to maybe look at getting a special guest, maybe a hospice counselor or, someone in the field that might be willing to talk about things that families can think about.
I can actually accommodate that. A very good friend of ours and a listener of the show is a volunteer manager at our local hospice house here. So
I would love it. I would love to
get
them on.
I will talk to her and see if we can make that happen in the next month or so.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Okay, so that's one topic, and then obviously I always like to I really want to dive into some topics about Trump has coined the idea of fake media, fake news, and I think it would be interesting to dive into that a little bit and find out where we've gone from 50 years ago when the news was like the most important thing, and the transition into what we have today and how that affects us all. So those are my two serious topics.
It's no secret on this show that you really find the serious topics, and I love the comical ones, man. I love the lighthearted stuff, the stuff that makes people laugh and really shows that side of us, because that's, in my opinion, what we do best. Serious topics, though, I want to dive into the Red for Ed here in Arizona, the education system, and how seriously messed up it is on some levels. I think that would be a great topic to discuss. And our intern, JP, is actually going to become a middle school technology teacher here in the fall or late summer. So getting his opinions on Red for Ed might be a very interesting conversation to have.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think we could do something like that.
That's a good one. I like that.
But aside from that,
now don't get me wrong. I love the comical ones too. I love comical topics. You know me. We have fun. Anytime we talk about relationships or talk about movies, we're going to get into some riffs, dude.
And that's what tonight's topic is going to be. But aside from that, man, comical. Like I said, I'm really glad the fan poll won out, and I get to talk about conspiracies again, because I tell you what, I fall down those rabbit holes on YouTube all the time. It's amazing the things you can find.
I think a lot of people do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
I am convinced about reptilians, aliens on the moon, Sasquatch. I mean, I've got so many things to talk about. That might be a two-parter. I might make that be a two-parter.
Hey, we talked about doing special episodes, so nothing's off the table. I know that one of the episodes we're doing with Jason Farmer is probably going to be a two-part episode, so I know that we're going to have
That's awesome. Who's Jason Farmer?
Isn't he our guy on Pot?
Oh, that Jason. Yes. I completely forgot about that. I talked to him last week too. We'll get into that after the show. But
yeah, I know that we have to do some special arrangements on that one, but we still want to do it.
All that being said, we thought tonight it'd be fun to talk about one of their requests asked to us on Facebook. How do you know when a relationship is built to last and when it's not? I mean, that's kind of
wow. That's a wide-ranging.
It is a very wide-ranging topic, but it's also a very serious topic, because so many relationships today, people are so quick to throw away in some cases, and others are so quick to hold on to, even for as toxic as they are.
I think that's a really good point, because it seems like nowadays, every time, it's almost like we want to stereotype a relationship, like, oh, they do this and this and this, then it's going to fail. It's going to fail. Or, oh, they're doing that, oh, they're going to last forever. And, sometimes it could be no further from the truth.
And that's really the case. It's the only two people that really know what go on in a relationship are the two people involved. And there's so much we don't see behind closed doors, because the public personas versus the private personas of people are always two very different things.
Well, the first thing I look at when I look at a couple is, how long have they been together, and how their actions. Because I think there's some actions that are very appropriate for certain stages of a relationship, that when I see that too early or too late, it makes me start to question, is that going to work or not?
No, I get that.
So for example, when I see a couple together 2 or 3 months and they move in together, I instantly think,
that's the danger zone, man. I think I'd have to date someone for a year and a half before I even thought about moving in with them. It's one thing to stay the night, eat at each other's places, and leave stuff there, but to take all of your stuff, all the things you pay to have on a regular basis, and move it in with theirs after 2 to 3 months, that's still the honeymoon stage. That's a terrible idea.
I just don't feel like someone in 3 months. I mean, you really don't. And so I think of people who move that quickly, and I think, what the hell were you thinking?
And I know a few examples that hit really close to home with me. I won't get into the personal details, but I looked at them, and looking back, because they're now former relationships with these people, like, you guys should have seen this coming a mile away. But, we can all obviously armchair quarterback relationships that are not ours,
But do you think that there's an appropriate, like, is there an appropriate, you said a year and a half before you'd even dive into that. Is there an appropriate amount of time? Because I would say there's also too long of a time. If you've been together 9 years and still haven't moved in together,
yeah,
that seems like it's too long, for a relationship.
Yeah, and once you start getting those 9-year relationships where people are dating or they're not living together, there's deeper problems there than people want to admit.
Well, I don't know. Some people just say, I want to live by myself. They like living by themselves, and we meet in the middle, but I just, when I hear someone say, oh, they moved in too quickly, or worse, oh, we've been together 12 years and we still live apart.
See, I get the, we've been together for 10 years, but we're just now getting engaged. Like, really, if you didn't know within a year or two, like, is this really going to work? Or we've been engaged for 7 years now. We just haven't gotten around to getting married. It's like, maybe that works for some people, but to me that screams like there's something wrong.
Yeah, I know we're one of those couples. I mean, we are not engaged. We're coming up on 8 years in July. And sometimes I wonder, man, are we okay? Is everything fine? And Noreen and I just determined that the moment that we can't go on a vacation together and have a good time, we just know, okay, it's time to end it, because we always have a great time on vacation together. And when we look across the room and say, I don't want to spend the rest of this week with you. Okay, I'll have my stuff packed up by the end of the week. By the time we get back, I'll get my stuff
That's
packed.
a problem. I think in a lot of relationships like that, and it's more than just romantic or dating relationships too. It's friendships. They say that every 7 years, you switch out half of your friends. That is a statistic I found on the interweb, that every 7 years, you switch out half of your friends. And
now, when you say switch out, what does that mean? Like that you're friends with them, but you don't hang out
and
with
they're not maybe in your inner circle so much anymore, but, and I've got friends like that, and I'm sure I'm friends with these people the same way. We're used to spend a lot of time together, used to do a lot of things together, and then, either they got married or started having kids, or just life went a different direction, and you kind of lose touch, and you lose that connection that you had, so you find other people that are in the same lifestyle you have. And those are the people you tend to gravitate to at that point.
Yeah, but that's kind of painful, though. You figure, man, we were such close friends. Now look what happened to us.
On some levels it is. On other levels, it's sometimes some friendships that's the course they're supposed to be, and you learn from them in that space of life, and then it's, you're on to the next one. It's kind of like dating. It's, you're not supposed to marry every person you date, every woman you date. Sometimes some are just learning experiences.
But are you supposed to bang every woman you date?
Well, that's the goal. Otherwise, why are you dating them? Now you're just gonna.
Wow, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just gotta knock my.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing.
Go well on the notes.
Tom's gonna go nuts with that one, but he's probably not gonna disagree. That's the funny part. But if you're dating somebody,
okay, so
if you're dating somebody, I think that's the goal, is to have that physical, intimate relationship. And to build on something deeper than that. If you're dating somebody and you're not looking for that, you're not really dating that person. You're friend zoning that person.
Well, but that could be a relationship too, I guess.
Well, so yeah. So I think both, whether it's a romantic relationship or a regular friendship, dating someone, you're trying to have relations with them. If you're not trying to have relations with that person, you're not really dating them. You're just hanging out with them. That's a friend.
So you're saying that there should be, if you start dating someone, there's a certain amount of time that if it goes too long before you have sex with them, then you're probably not anything more than friends.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's some as you get older, some situations are different than others. I think sometimes it just takes longer to build that relationship, that deeper connection with some people. It's. You and Noreen are a perfect example. You guys were co-workers and friends for what, 7, 8, 9 years before you guys actually got together?
We had the ability. We had the though that she was married, I was married, so that sexual tension was not there.
Yeah,
because there wasn't an opportunity to do that.
We're still having issues.
Became single, but she was still married. So there's really, because I'm haven't changed anything.
Yeah, it's you're coming in and out still.
See, you're going in and out too. Okay, hold on. Let me try something here.
It's gonna be that whole 17 to 20 minute mark.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can get my. Hold on. Let's see. Scotty,
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm gonna try to just do it off of this until I figure out what's going on.
Yeah, you sound a lot, but you sound like you're a little bit further away, but you sound better.
Okay, I'll do it like this then. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, 5 seconds.
So like I was saying, if you're dating somebody, you're trying to have relations with them. If you're not trying to have relations with them, you're not really dating them. You're just hanging out with them. They're a friend. Unless you're trying to take the slow approach to build that deeper connection, that more friendship-based, and hope it turns into something else, right?
Okay, so I'm going to paint a scenario for you so we can get a reference of what is too short or too long. Now, so this question is, I'm going to give you a scenario, dating someone before you have sex. And you tell me, based on that scenario, when I give you out the times, what you think if that's a little too short, that's a little too long, that's way too long. Oh my gosh, I would have serious questions about that. Okay. So, started dating before you had your first sexual encounter.
Okay.
First night.
Okay.
3 months.
If you haven't had sex with them after 3 months, are you making out with them? Like, I guess is there at least some kind of like foreplay or build up to it, or is it just no contact whatsoever?
Well, I'll put in there that you guys mess around, but there's no sex, no intercourse.
No intercourse, but there is a physical intimacy on some level.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
maybe.
I think it's probably okay.
Maybe you're lying next to them in bed naked, but you're not doing anything.
Yeah, it's a waste. But yeah, you're.
No, but I mean, I guess when I look at it, if you were to say, okay, here's a couple, they slept on their very first night together.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have any sort of like preconceived notions of whether they're going to make it or not?
No, I wouldn't, because I think that happens on a fairly regular basis anymore, whether people want to admit it or not.
Oh, see, I instantly put on there that I put their chances of surviving at least a 10% to 20% reduction.
Really? You're going to dock them that level if they hook up on the first date?
Yeah.
I mean, what if the chemistry's just there so much, and there's a little bit of alcohol involved or whatever?
Well, I just think because when I look at it is you can't know someone that well in one date to know if it's just a sexual chemistry versus a chemistry for the relationship.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
I mean, if you were to tell me, oh my gosh, they had sex on their first date, I would instantly put them at a 20% reduction in the percentage of them being able to maintain the relationship long term.
That being said, though, I mean, I don't think that holds weight, because you're saying that the quicker they have sex, that's their connection is going to fizzle out because they didn't build the solid connection first.
What I'm saying is that anyone can have sex.
Yeah.
Anybody can have sex with anybody. Doesn't mean that they're going to survive the laundry and the grocery shopping and washing kids and doing all the other stuff.
But,
like, some people can have amazing sex, but they're not going to have a long-term relationship.
Well, I've seen plenty of people fail in a sexless marriage that has all those things.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I guess maybe the question is, when you say a relationship that's going to last, we have to use a different standard than we do 40, 50 years ago, because a relationship that lasts 25 years, that's a pretty good run.
Oh, I agree completely. I mean, if you're going on, 7, 8, 9, 10 years nowadays, that's commitment.
Yeah, you've definitely made it. I mean, you've worked hard to make it that far.
Absolutely. I'll agree with that 110%.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So what do you think would fail in your mind? Someone who had sex on the first date, or someone who had sex and had to wait 6 months to have sex? Which relationship do you think has a better chance of surviving the 15-year threshold.
The 15-year threshold?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't base my answer off those two scenarios. Like a lot can happen just in the emotional and physical intimacy of those people in that time. What you're willing to share, what you're willing to open up with. I don't think you can just put it out there that, if we hooked up on the first date, we have a less chance the last 15 years than the guy who waits 6 months. Just for the fact that you could have great personal and intimate stimulation for that 6 months to really build that bond with them. But no matter what, over time, unless you're nurturing that bond, whether it's built on the first night or 6 months in, you have to nurture that and really work at it to make sure it lasts 15 years. Otherwise, I'd say you have an equal chance of neither of them making it, whether they fuck on the first date or the 6th month.
Oh, okay. All right. See, now I would definitely say, so I would lean toward that the people who haven't had sex in the first 6 months have a better shot, in my mind, of lasting a lifetime than the people that have sex on the first date.
Well, I think if you're basing off the idea that, yes, they, in your mind, they have built a deeper, more intimate connection intellectually and maybe emotionally, yeah, I guess you could go with that.
Okay.
But I don't think you can discount those connections based off someone hooking up on the first date.
Okay, so what would be too early of a time for the first "I love you"?
After the first time you hook up on the first date.
So this is for all our listeners out there. This is very good insight as to when to say "I love you." Okay, so you're going on a date. You like the guy. He's amazing. He touches your heart. If it's only been a week and you say "I love you," you're doomed. Okay.
Yeah.
You're doomed. Your relationship is doomed. Don't even try.
I think maybe 2 or 3 months in, if you're seeing each other consistently and spending the majority of your time outside of your career with this person, and you build that, I'd say that within 2 or 3 months.
Okay. All right. What would be too long of a time for you to say "I love you"?
I don't know, like 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. I don't know. I mean, if you're with someone for longer than 7 months, I would say, and you haven't said it yet,
you got serious walls.
Yeah, you got some serious walls. And if you break down those walls, though, that person's going to be a blubbering, baby for a long time, and then they'll never stop saying it.
Well, and Frank, let's be honest. I mean, isn't that that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks that most couples run into of why they don't last a lifetime is someone is guarding or someone's protecting themselves with a wall and are not willing to commit like the other one wants them to.
Yeah, and I think it's having a different level of or a different idea of what commitment is too. I think if you're both not on the same page as to what you think commitment is or need it to be, you're going to miss out on something really great or you could miss out on something really great, I should say, because your expectations versus their expectations, and you clearly need to have an understanding of what the other one's expecting.
Yeah, I think that it does depend on the situation too, because most of the time when I have my preconceived stereotypes of whether a relationship is going to last, it's scenario by scenario. Like I've always felt like when someone is really controlling over the other person, I get an instant red flag, like that relationship is going to blow up at some point. That is not going to last the test of time.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can see that, and I could definitely agree with it. I've seen enough examples of that. Like, oof, well, it's going to be up to whoever's the person not being controlled to actually leave that at some point and not be talked back into it. And I know plenty of examples that I've seen and been around for the past, 5-10 years that, these people are stuck in long-term relationships, and I say stuck because they are not happy, but they choose to stay with it because they're afraid to either make the other person mad or they think that's the best they're ever going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many things that can cause a relationship to just destroy, but it comes back to the people. I mean, I've seen couples that yell at each other every day, all day long, and they've been married 30 plus years, and that's just how they interact with each other.
Yeah.
It would be a telltale sign if I was getting yelled at or I was yelling at someone all the time. We need to cut loose.
Yeah.
We need to cut loose.
No, I agree completely. And I've seen people that have said literally that they're not happy in their relationships, but they don't want to get out of it because they're afraid they're going to be alone the rest of their lives, or worse. And I don't know, man. I've been through enough in this lifetime in relationships where I think I'd rather be alone than be in something miserable. In fact, I know I'd rather be alone than be in something miserable. There's no maybe. I'd rather be alone than be with someone who makes me miserable.
Well, there's a great line from a movie, Some Kind of Wonderful. I'd rather be alone for the right reasons than with someone for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely. And I had a female friend last fall that I was chatting with one day, and she was on again, off again with her boyfriend, and at the time she was off again with him, and we were just talking, and she goes, "I'm going back to him, and I know I'm going back to him, and it's not that I'm in love with him, like I love him, but I don't like have that feeling for him, but I know I'll be okay." And that was the saddest thing I've ever heard. That was the saddest thing that she's maybe in her late 20s, early 30s. Okay. Like, how could you even give up at this point in your life and think that you're not going to find something better, and that, you know what, you're not in love with this guy, but hey, it's better than being alone. I would not want to be in that kind of long-term relationship.
Well, then again, there's a lot of people out there that get on breaks, like they take a break. They know they're coming back to the person, but they go on a break, just to kind of see what the other side's like.
Like a Rumspringa?
I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I've always been the type of person that once I break that tie, there is no going back for me. I mean, unfortunately, I'm a bend, not break type of person. But once that's broken, I don't go back. I don't want to go back. I'm done. But there are a lot of people that, well, I'm just taking a break, but he's still really good to me, and he touches my heart and all that.
No, that's such bullshit. And not what you're saying, but the people that say that shit. Like,
I know it, but those are telltale signs of a relationship, being. Oh man, I get chills in my back when I see these kind of like things that go on. Like, oh, we're on a break. Yeah, but I know we're going to get back together. Ooh, really?
Yeah,
gosh. But, it's probably because I just don't understand. Like, I've never been that type of person that, well, I know he broke my heart or she broke my heart, but I'm going to go back.
Well, and I agree.
And she breaks my heart again, and I'm going to go back. And then she breaks my heart again, and I'm going to go back. It's like, nah.
And I agree. Nah. And I watch a lot of those relationships, and, I look at the women in them. I'm like, I don't think I could even consider dating you, based on what you said. Or knowing what you've done in these relationships, both good, bad, and ugly. I'm not saying that you walk into your next new relationship with the same mentality as your old ones, but a tiger can't change his stripes. And some people are just wired to be in bad relationships.
The other thing I don't understand too is I could never understand how someone who is married to like a drug user.
Yeah.
But they're not a drug user. Like, I don't understand how that dynamic works. Like I'm a drug user, but my spouse isn't. How do we bridge that gap?
It's an enabling thing. It's got to be enabling.
Yeah, but drug use or gambling is another one. Like, if someone's gambling away all your money, it's like, oh man, if you're both not gamblers, how does one person gamble, but the other person doesn't? It's like, ooh, man, that's got to be tough.
Yeah. I guess there are things in every relationship that you will put up with and others that are deal breakers. We have an episode on that.
We do have episode breakers, but you wonder, how does a relationship stay together 30, 40 years when you've got someone who's like a narcotic user, or you've got someone who's, gambling problem or something. How do those relationships last for so long? And then you got two people smart, they've got their lives ahead of them, and they can't last, a year.
I think it comes down to commitment and willing to work at it. You could be the smartest people in the world, but if you don't understand your partner's wants and needs and communication patterns and are willing to make those compromises, some people just naturally get it from the other person. They just understand that person on a different level. And that's how they're able to get along and stay together for so long.
Oh God.
And a lot of those people are the ones that get married out of high school. And I don't condone getting married out of high school right away, or even in your early 20s. It's like leaving a party at 8:30 on a Friday night. You leave before all the good shit happens.
yeah, that's true. But you're smiling the next day, and you're not hungover, so maybe that's the benefit of living like that, because then you're feeling good. And
yeah, but you still smell like that 20 years later. You like red M&Ms, Jason?
I do.
Could you eat red M&Ms every day? Every day the rest of your life?
I probably could.
I mean, but at some point you don't want to say fuck, man. I just want a green one.
I'd rather not, because red is really good.
Yeah, well,
when red gets a little bitter or bitchy, then maybe green sounds pretty good. Maybe green sounds pretty good.
Time for the holiday package. Only red.
I know,
green.
Right? So what is the one thing that you see in a couple where you say, you know what, like when I see it in a couple, I know that they're good?
I think it's the ones that, to me, that are not afraid to talk about everything, even the hard conversations, that they're willing to sit down and understand, that the ones that create a safe space for each other.
Like a safe space. What do you mean by that? Like a safe space?
A safe space where you have to be able to tell your partner anything and everything. Like you have to tell them you're deep and you're dark, and they have to make you feel comfortable enough to tell them that. You can't make it feel forced.
Yeah. I've always thought that couples that not necessarily can laugh at each other, but that can laugh together.
Yeah.
You see them out and you see them just that. It's almost like when they're together, they're their own little world. That everything they interact with the world, but you can tell that when they're together, that they're their own little world, and they laugh and smile. That's obviously a good sign that they're doing good.
Yeah, I think couples that even have to be married for a long period of time still take each other out on dates.
Oh, that'd be good.
That's a good one. That kind of shit happens all the time.
Oh, all the time, dude.
Not for me, but
Well, you're still young. Wait, you're not young, Scott. Holy
dude, you might as well take me out back and put a bullet in the back of my head. I mean,
dude, what happened?
Put me at the pasture.
We used to be so young. I mean, you're still at least good looking. I mean, I don't know what happened to me, but jeez, I mean, got old. I mean, I just ugh.
Oh, that's not true,
good.
buddy. At all.
No,
you live in that traveling lifestyle.
You know what? For all the people who are single out there, we hope that this episode allows you to look for the things that are going to give you love for a lifetime. Yeah. For those of you who have love for a lifetime, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Be the benchmark for the rest of us, so that we know what to look for with the true love. And if you're somewhere in the middle and you just want to bang, that's good too. But just know that you lost 20% if it's on the first date.
Yeah, in Jason's opinion. But give us your thoughts and opinions on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, all at Liquid Carnage. Hit us up. We want to know what you think. What are your rules for dating, or what were your rules for dating and maintaining a long-term relationship? We want to hear from you guys. It's a fun topic, but it's also a very serious topic, because dating and relationships they're a very much evolving a piece of our world, because what relationships were 40 years ago, they are not the same today. How things started back then are very different than how they are started today. And we want to hear your thoughts and opinions. I understand we did have some technical issues, and I'm sure we will hear that from Tom in our notes. If you want to talk to Tom, hit him up on Twitter and Instagram, all liquid_EP. And just give us your thoughts. Give us his thoughts. And like his Star Trek, whatever they are, gifts. It makes a little feller's day.
I'd also love to hear on our social media accounts things that people have seen in the past where you knew when you saw that the relationship was doomed, and let us know if they actually made it or not. I'd love to hear some of those stories, because I think all of us have those experiences where we just saw just one thing might have happened between a couple, and you said, "Oh, they're doomed.
Oh,
they're not going to make it. That make it." So I'd love to see that on our social media this week as well. Scott, I know we had some technical difficulties, but I think all in all, it was a great first episode for season 2.
Yeah, season 2 on the way, 1 down, 51 to go, and then the march to season 3 begins tonight.
That's right. Or that's right. It's next week's a new week, but this week is a good starting week, so I'm happy about that.
Absolutely, Jason. Why don't you go ahead and take us out? Take us out of here.
Hey, thanks everyone for listening. We really appreciate you as usual. Welcome to season 2 of Liquid Carnage.
Yes.
That was Scott. I am Jason, and as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Carnage.